Hello everyone, my name's Tomato Anus. Today is August 14th, 2024. This is the Patreon Speedrun Explained retrospective series where I go and I watch an old video of mine and I take notes about what I think the video does and doesn't do well, trying to, make better videos today by breaking down my old videos and trying to self-reflect, self-analyze in some way. If you are watching this video in 2025, could have watched it a whole year earlier by going to patreon.com/tomatoanus and subscribing, supporting at the middle tier. At least that's how it's set up right now. But without further ado, what are we covering today? Today we are going over the speedrun of Untitled Goose Game. It's a shorter video. We'll see if it's too short, then I'll do Outer Worlds as well. I did pull up the tab already. If it's too short, we'll do Outer Worlds as well. But we'll see how much we gleam out of this. Glean? Gleam? Glean? Is it glean or gleam? I think they're both words. But Untitled Goose Game. This video came out November 23rd, 2019. Untitled Goose Game itself came out September 20th. So this was just over 2 months after release. This was one of my few attempts at trying to cover a game shortly after release / major discoveries, I should say. Looking at most of my videos, I usually try and cover runs that are a bit more, I don't know if established is the right word, because established implies some sort of not clout, some sort of, I'm not sure exactly the word I'm looking for, but I try and find runs that are a bit more settled, a bit more, hey, you know what, it's even, the mentality I go into it with is like, this run is really cemented, right? The odds of things changing super drastically are a bit lower. So that means that if someone is watching this video, even years down the line, it's still going to be relatively, like, sure, it'll be out of date. Sure, there's going to be reroutes, new discoveries and whatnot, but it's not like it's going to look like a completely different speedrun, right? And of course, things like that are impossible to predict. You never know exactly what is actually going to happen, what is going to be developed, what is going to be discovered, what is going to be rerouted, what is going to be changed. So it's impossible to say, truly impossible. But, I do my best, or at least did my best. I think that was something that I started to focus on more after my Ocarina of Time video, which I'm very excited to eventually get to that one. But after that, for a bit, I was kind of covering runs that had a foothold a bit more stability to their route. It wasn't, this game I covered right after release. Same with Outer Worlds. But then Ocarina of Time was right after major discoveries and reroutes. And then it wasn't until, I guess, a whole year later, right? This was November, January. This was, I want to say, December of that following year. So like almost a whole year later, I covered Cyberpunk then, but it was 6%. That's more of a meme run than an actual run. It wasn't until then about Elden Ring that I covered a run that was more recent, more of a new release. Elden Ring came out February. This video came out June, July. I want to say July. Yeah, July 5th. I was going to say right around 4th of July, I thought. July 5th. So went a couple years without any new release type games. I still think generally, looking at all my other runs, like Starfield is the other one that's like a new release. The game came out in August, September. I don't even remember. Video came out December. I was running it October, November. So I generally try and avoid new releases. I liked it. Oh, I guess Deathloop as well. Though Deathloop, I think, had kind of, I don't remember actually when Deathloop came out. I want to say that was a little earlier in the year, but Deathloop, I'm pretty sure, had kind of cemented a route by then and was seeming pretty small. Because I remember talking to Seeker about that as well, and I feel like I'm talking all over the place right now, but yeah, just this was my first video covering a run that was like a hot release, and everyone talked about Untitled Goose Game. It had a moment, and I made the video, of course, trying to ride that wave a little bit. It clearly didn't. I mean, 244,000 views. I'm very happy with that, of course. I probably only made a couple bucks from this video at most because it's so short, so it doesn't have much in terms of mid-roll or anything, but it's nothing to waft at. Waft. Oh god, it's Gleam versus Glean all over again. Nothing to waft at, but it didn't pop off like some of my other videos. And then that combined with the Ocarina of Time video, which again is a whole other discussion. Kind of, he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna stick to what I know. Stick to more. Again, this word, established runs. In terms of what I remember from the actual production of this video, I don't remember a whole lot. I of course remember working with Yisk. I then met Yisk very briefly at AGDQ 2020. He was there for Untitled Goose Game. Maybe not for Untitled Goose Game, but he did run Untitled Goose Game there. I thought it was him, at least. If it wasn't him, then it was one other dude who I know. Regardless, I did meet Yisk very briefly at AGDQ in one of the practice rooms. I just introduced myself. I was like, hey, it was good working with you. He's like, yeah, you too. And that was about the extent of our conversation. But this video was released November 23rd. And this video was released like November 5th or something like that. November 2nd. So 3-week turnaround exactly. Just like I had talked about I was doing in this era. Which makes sense because this video is so short. The thing about this video was I remember it's funny that he pops up in my recommended right now, Jabo. It's no secret. Whoa. It's no secret I'm very good friends with Jabo. He and I talk all the time. We've talked for years. Was featured in this video of mine. Like, he's been one of my best friends for approaching a decade. I remember him. He was, when I released this and I think this one, Ocarina of Time, he talked about like I should look into doing more like bite-sized speedrun explains and whatnot. I'd never ended up actually dabbling into that, but that's a whole other discussion. But he was like, yeah, you should like, make a big one, a small one, big one, small one, big one, small one, big one, small one, just so there's not as much delay between videos. And I do think that there is a solid, not validity. I do think that's like a really solid idea, but reasons it's not worth going into. That's a whole, like I said, it's not like it's not worth going into. Like I don't want to talk about it. It's just a whole other discussion that, that's not what this video is about. So this video, again, I don't remember too much. I remember this. I remember, you can see kind of in this preview thumbnail, the push clip. I remember the definition and the cowbell thing. I think I used that twice early on. But I honestly really do not remember much else about this video. The thing I remember most about this video is the thumbnail. I have the hiccups. I remember making this video's thumbnail. I was sitting on my couch and making it on my laptop while my roommate had over. My roommate was painting. He's a big painter, and he was having a painting night with some of our friends, and I just wasn't feeling painting that night, so I just kind of chilled with them and worked on Photoshop. But like he had our friends over along with some of my friends' friends, and yeah, just I don't know why that night is very burned into my memory. I worked on this on my laptop, and then I played Game Dev Tycoon on my laptop while they all did Bob Ross paintings. My friend now is like a very talented painter in his own right and doesn't just like follow along with Bob Ross. He like does commissions and whatnot. It's crazy to think how far he's come on his painting journey, while how far I've come on my YouTube journey. But that's, again, besides the point. So I remember making the thumbnail. This is actually one of my all-time favorite thumbnails of mine. It's like, kind of Andy Warhol, or Warhol, directly Warhol inspired. I think it's just a really fun thumbnail. I think it's eye-catching. I like the variation to it. I think this was the first time that I made a thumbnail, and I was like, oh, that could be a desktop wallpaper. And then I started to kind of try and make thumbnails that were like that. Like, this is a desktop wallpaper. This is a desktop wallpaper. Desktop wallpaper. This one, not so much. But that's kind of like the approach I then started taking. But other than that, I know this video has a Ridge sponsorship at the start. I don't remember too much. In this video, we break down and explain an any percent speedrun of Untitled Goose Game. This speedrun is incredibly short due to both the skill demonstrated by Yisk and the ability to phase through barriers as a goose. To skip straight to the end. Don't let that fool you, though. The speedrun may be short, but it's definitely intense. Seems accurate. Seems accurate. All right, I guess without further ado, let's freaking get into it.
This video is sponsored by Ridge. Ridge sells products like backpacks, power banks, and have over a dozen different wallet designs
Fucking shill.
to choose from. Their wallets fit perfectly in your pocket.
I still use that wallet, actually. I don't have it on me.
Hold up to 12 cards.
My summer wallet.
It's in our RFID blocking. They're
I
also
gave this one to my roommate. He still uses that one.
incredibly
My roommate at the time.
durable, being made out of materials like carbon fiber and titanium, and are proven to be
I gave this one to my dad. He still uses
both
it.
bulletproof and chainsaw proof. Go to ridge.com/anus and use code ANUS to get 10% off your order.
I said I've paused so many times. This is more just fun behind the scenes stuff. Proven to be both bulletproof and chainsaw proof. The fact Ridge wallets are chainsaw proof was the original reason for the introduction of Gavin Chainsaw Hands. He was introduced in, I believe it was this video. Yeah, Titanfall 2. And I was like, oh, it'd be really funny to one day have a character who has chainsaws for hands and have him fight someone and then they block his attacks with a Ridge wallet. But I think I've only done one Ridge sponsorship since then. I believe that was that would have been probably around here. Probably this video or this video, one of the, oh, yep, there it is. And I didn't end up doing, I think at that point they had taken the chainsaw proof out of their description and said not to mention it or anything. So I'm like, oh well, Gavin's around, I guess. Gavin exists for, I guess, his true purpose no longer is his true purpose. And anyway.
Go to ridge.com/anus and use code ANUS to get 10% off your order with free shipping and returns.
Anus.
Link is in the description.
Nice.
Hey guys, my name's Tomato Anus, also known as the least funny person on the internet, and this is an any percent speedrun of Untitled Goose Game. This run is actually performed by Yisk, the current any percent world record holder, who also worked with me on writing this script to make sure that everything is correct and is as accurate as possible. If you would prefer to watch this any percent run without commentary or Yisk's world record, there are links in the description below.
You can hear
also,
my mic
without commentary
into
or
my mic.
Yisk's world record, there are links in.
You can hear me you can hear the into my mic here when I say Yisk.
Prefer to watch this any percent run without commentary or Yisk's world record, there are links in the description below. Also, with this being any percent, glitches are allowed.
Okay, for this line, saying this line as the gameplay's coming in just immediately reminded me. I remember while making this video being really, I mean, of course there's not much time to work with, right? Short run, lot to explain. I have to fit in Patreon in there. Granted, at this time I had very few patrons, so it was just like 2 screens of people. But I remember being very cramped for time, and I remember editing this part now and being like, how do I get all of this preamble to fit while not cutting into the gameplay too much? And, I've figured that out by now because I ask runners to do stuff like record the main menu for a bit and sit on it and then start a new run, and then I just splice that onto the start of a run. I do that a lot. But I do remember very clearly being strapped with time in the video for editing this.
If you would prefer to watch a glitchless run, I've linked the current world record by Rowan VDV77 in the description. The run officially begins as soon as we honk for the first time and gain control of the devil incarnate. Our goal is to get across town to retrieve the bell by all means necessary and bring it back to our den. The first tool that we'll use to accomplish this goal is this ordinary boot. Yisk will unlock a nearby gate, and as it opens, perform what he calls a push clip to get through the gate faster as it's opening. If done correctly,
Okay, very interesting. Couple things. First off, the devil incarnate, the timing on this is great.
time and gain control of the devil incarnate. Our goal is to
That good comedic timing. This, let me
unlock
do this
a nearby
again.
gate, and as it opens, perform what he calls a push clip to get through the gate faster as it's opening.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If done correct,
so it's about like 3 to 4 seconds. Probably about 3 seconds. I do like
as it's opening.
I do like this. I really like this. I actually brought this back in my Portal 2 video with M Sushi. I believe I used this pretty early on.
Hey
in
everyone,
the run.
commentary or
Use it pretty early on in the run. Somewhere in here. During this, yeah, here we go. I brought this stuff back. I don't know if I brought back this.
give them a little speed boost. So pretty much a reportal is shooting.
No, I didn't. I love the setup of the having it be like a dictionary definition. I think that's just a very fun framing device for, you know, defining something like this on screen. Very clearly people need to pause a lot for this though. I think 3 seconds isn't enough to like fully digest this. And that's proven by the fact that the most replayed part is right here, which just means that people skip to it the most. That means someone probably watching it, and then they did something
If
like
done
this.
correctly,
Like, oh, what was that? And then they go back.
faster as it's opening.
So most replayed part, they pause there. You know, the most. This makes sense. The peak being right there. So, I like the idea. The idea is great. Let me smooth this. Let me up here. There we go. The idea is great. I think the execution just all right. Just because of the pause isn't long enough. I think maybe if I were to do something like, oh, also, before I even go any further, I know we're like 18 minutes into this video, but if you have any questions or comments or anything you disagree or agree with or thoughts of your own on something or just any thoughts or things you want me to talk about in the future or anything like that, any type of insights you're curious about or that you have, or you know, I'm saying something and you are like, no, I kind of took this a different way. You know, you said that this didn't work. I actually found it did, or you said this works, but I found it didn't for these reasons. Feel free. I love reading you guys' comments. I love the constructive criticism. You know, I've only arrived to where I am at now due to reading, you know, so many comments over the years and really trying to figure out what works and doesn't work for people. So please leave comments. Leave as many as you'd like, as long as you'd like. I will read them. And yeah, I would just love to hear your input on all this stuff and your thoughts, you know, reflecting back on these old videos as well. But I think getting back to this, I think maybe a better way to do this would have been to
perform what he calls a push
something
clip
like this.
to get through the gate faster as it's opening.
push clip, moving forwards at a vertical edge wall with an object, ducking our head and turning it at an angle into the wall. You know, maybe have like voiceover, have it pause with the sound effect, and then have me read like, a push clip is when you move towards a vertical edge or wall with an object, duck your head and turn at an angle into the wall. You know, something like that. It puts it less on the viewer, right? And I only say this because the push clip is like, I'm pausing anyway, right? It's not like in that portal. It's not like in here where
portal while you're push them out, which gives them a little speed boost. So pretty much a reportal is shooting a portal while you're standing or moving through portals and using the game pushing you out of the portals to your advantage.
So, okay, like this great example in use. I guess I did that a bit intuitively here, where the definition on screen is great, but if you're putting it on screen and putting it all on the viewer to read this and digest it and learn it, that's not too great. Here, I'm at least kind of saying exactly what's on screen.
Related
right?
to reportals,
It's the like when I first started putting things on screen when I say them in the Mirror's Edge video with like new skip so and so, new tech this name, new glitch flibber flabber, right? Having the text come on screen, you know, it hammers home the idea of like, you know, it's both audio learning and visual learning. And I think that having the two of them in sync does a lot with hammering home certain concepts, having viewers remember things. So I think having them just read it isn't enough. I think if they were to just hear me say it, might be enough, but having both really hammers it
through
home.
portals and using the...
So right here is great, right? If I don't have the time in commentary while gameplay's going over to say the definition like I did here, like there's not room here for me to say what a push clip is. That's why I did this, right? That's why I did this thing. I do think it would have been beneficial to...
faster as it's opening.
While it pauses,
If done
say what it is. You know, it would, you know, make the pause slightly longer, sure, by 2 seconds. 5-second pause. Someone can't deal with a 5-second pause in a speedrun video. That's their problem. But it like, you know, it hammers it home. It makes it so that like the viewers don't have to pause and read. I don't know if you know this. People read a lot faster when they're reading along, right? If someone is reading aloud, if you're a slow reader and someone is reading aloud, you're able to follow along at the pace that they're reading, even if that's not the pace that you can normally read at least in my experience. I don't know if that's a universal thing, but at least in my experience, and that feels like something that's probably a bit universal. So like, God, I'm going to fucking kill someone. I'm going to kill past tomato anus for that noise because I have heard it so many times in these few minutes. You know, pause, moving towards a vertical edge / wall with an object, ducking our head in turn. Like reading this in your head and following it and fully understanding and applying it to this, like it can be a lot. It can really be a lot. So I do think that just a little brief voiceover reading it, maybe even highlighting the words yellow as I read it, though I think that might be overkill, doing the whole sing-along type thing. That might be a bit overkill, but I think that at the very least, reading the definition when paused would be a dramatic and drastic quality increase. And I really should have done that. I don't know why I didn't, because it seems pretty common sense. At least it seems common sense for me in 2024, 5 years after I made this video, when I have 5 more years of experience doing this, which is a lot. It's over a sixth of my life, right? So I would for sure change that.
If done correctly, the Cobra Chicken will clip through the wall to the other side. We then swim to a nearby ledge and put our boot on the land and use our strong gooseneck to pull ourselves out of the water. Yisk then performs what's called a drop clip to climb a wall and enter the pub.
All right, again, same deal. Everything I just said applies. Same shit as push clip, except you have to drop the object and pick it back up to perform the clip. Ooh. See, okay. I was gonna say, it's interesting that, you know, maybe it's just because they're so close together, but over the scale of a 5-minute video, I feel like there would be another peak here. I guess what I'm getting at is, Excuse me. I was going to say, it's interesting that there's a most replayed peak here and not here, but I think I understand why. Because most people, when they're watching it, will do this.
Wall and enter the pub.
Same. They'll go, same shit as the push clip.
We run enter the pub.
Same shit as the push clip, except you have to drop the object and pick it back up to perform the clip. Wait, but what was a push clip? Oh god, let me go back.
Opening.
Moving towards a vertical edge with an object, ducking your head, turning. Okay, so then I have to go back. Okay, same shit. So you drop the object, turn your head, you drop it and pick it back up. Okay, oh, that sort of makes sense. You know, you see what I'm saying? It involves a lot. It's like extra homework. So I think that if I'm going to do something like, say, it's the same shit as this, the first concept that I'm comparing it to has to be really established. Because right now I am saying, yeah, it's just the same as that other thing. But that other thing, I didn't even read what it is. I'm relying entirely on a viewer to likely pause the video, read something, fully process what that means, then retain that knowledge and equate something else to it. That's a lot. It is a lot. So I think if I were remaking it and I did the definition pause and the first one like I said I would, but I just read the definition on top of it, I would again read this, but I might reword it slightly. I do like the casual nature of just saying, it's the same shit as this. I like that. So I would probably try and retain that casual tone while still properly explaining it. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and try and I feel like I would need to sit there and try and like actually crack what that sounds like, you know? But I like the casual tone, but not when it's at the expense of an explanation and the processing of a video for a viewer or the retention of information. So I would say idea behind a push clip. This definition good, execution not great in hindsight. The idea behind this one in execution, I would say just pretty bad. I do think that this, you know, can be improved. I also don't like the idea of like, you know, every run is unique and calls for different ways to explain things different. Excuse me, I'm really yawny this morning and I don't know why. I'm not even tired. I could lay down right now and try and take a nap and I would not fall asleep. And I'm usually a napper. I'm a nap person. So, every video calls for different ways to explain things, different things. This is why like no two of my videos are exactly the same, right? It's just sometimes I might have a tried and true way of explaining things or a certain way of displaying something on screen or displaying something to accompany an explanation, but it doesn't work with a certain run, so I kind of have to change it up a little bit, right? You just kind of have to be loosey goosey with it. No pun intended. You have to be able to adapt and just, you know, no video. There's not a tried and true formula with what exactly works, right? So for this, like, I don't like. It might be different. I would probably have to make it to see. It would be one thing, you know, having these two definitions back to back with the pauses, it's too much. If I do the reading of the explanation, I think I could see it swinging to where having the two within 15 seconds of each other would work. But 15 seconds in a row, 2 within 15 seconds. Oh, God. 2 within 15 seconds is just too much. Where you have to pause and read. And yeah, it's a lot. And, you know, like imagine I don't think that this is a hard and fast rule, but something I like to kind of, do in my head to see whether or not the timing on something is right is like, they say, okay, if I were to do this, every 15 seconds, is it annoying? If I were to do this every 3 minutes, is it annoying? If I were to do this every 10 minutes, is it annoying? Star skip aside, we're coming. Like I said, it's August. We are hot off the heels of the Kufid video, Cuphead, that everyone in the comments either loves or hates the star skip running bit. That was a bit though. Like that was a very intentional thing. Like that was intended to be annoying. You can see on the first star skip pop in after Forest Follies, it says you're gonna hate this. Like that was intentional. I was trying to be obnoxious with that. But like, I don't want, when I'm not trying to be obnoxious about something, I don't want it to be obnoxious, right? So I think like, okay, if I did this every 15 seconds, how would it ruin the flow? If I did this every 3 minutes, how would it ruin the flow? If I did it every minute? So I kind of extrapolate out, and like, if every 15 seconds the video is interrupted by something like this, that's really tough. That's really tough. So like 2 in a row, of course, it's not the same. Just doing it 2 in a row like this versus doing it every 15 seconds nonstop. It's not the same at all. At all. But I do still kind of extrapolate out and think like that and try and, see what it would be like if I kept doing that. Anyway, getting way back. I don't think that this is good. I do think that the commentary over is the way to do it. And I think that the wording of this isn't great. If I did it with the commentary, I do think it could work, especially if I'm a bit meta about it with referencing the the commentary I did right then. Maybe do a flashback, maybe get a bit more meta with it. Be like, same shit as push clip from whatever seconds ago, and then flashback, push clip, and flashback. Except you drop the object and pick it back up to perform the clip. Maybe that would work. Maybe just add the 15 seconds ago, then flashback after I read that first part to here. Have that definition be read out, then flash forward and complete the sentence, except you have to drop the object and pick it back up to perform the clip. I think that would be the best solution, at least in this exact instance. The flashbacks, they're a staple on the channel. I love doing them. I really like doing them when they're entirely unnecessary, though, or ridiculous. When it's like, remember 45 minutes ago? No, odds are they don't. So I think it's funny with that. Or remember 37 seconds ago? I think that's the one I just did in the Cuphead video. Remember 37 seconds ago? It's like, well, yeah, you just said it. So I remember 15 seconds ago. I think that's pretty good. It's pretty funny because it's like, well, yeah, it was 15 seconds ago. It was less than half a minute. It was a quarter of a minute. That's no time at all. So that's kind of how I feel about this. All right.
We run past the bouncer to avoid showing him our ID and paying the cover charge and perform another drop clip. Unfortunately, this is where we part ways with our trusty boot companion and instead pick up a piece of fine china. We drop clip with our newfound plate in a nearby corner, allowing us to swim through the railing and drop down into the brush.
Again, just, I'm using drop clip and push clip pretty liberally now, but it kind of sucks that the definitions of them were so hastily put in here where the viewer might not have the solid grasp on what the push clip and drop clip are, and this all might be a bit lost on them now. What Yisk is actually doing,
Yisk then makes a mad dash as the physics-defying Goose over to the model village, where our prized goal awaits. To enter the model village, we drop our plate and grab it again while walking and turning into the barrier to somehow climb over it. Yisk then runs over to the corner of the bell tower, where he utilizes the totally intended flying ability coded into the game, where if you drop and grab an object while sprinting into a wall, you'll float up into the air where Yisk will yoink the bell. The mad dash then begins to bring the bell back to our humble abode. We run to a nearby corner and reach out with our neck to push clip over another barrier, followed by swimming back towards the pub. There, we're going to perform a push clip by ducking into a corner and turning, which will cause for us to more or less moonwalk up a ledge and back into the pub.
Something that I feel is lacking from this video is context. Like, I never played Untitled Goose Game. If I'm being honest, I never played this game. It's one of the few games I've covered on the channel that I've never played. Or I guess to go over ones I've never played Untitled Goose Game. Battle for Bikini Bottom, I don't think I actually played back in the day when I was a kid. And never played Subnautica. I know that that's up here somewhere. Never played the original Demon Souls. Never played the Hitman games. I played a tutorial of one of the Hitman games. That's enough, right? But for the most part, I played most of the games I cover. I play a lot of games, but a Goose Game I never got around to playing. So as someone who's never played it, and, you know, a lot of people watch my videos who have never played these games, I feel like there should be a bit more context in this video as to what is actually happening. Why did he go grab the bell? What, you know, it would be nice to have stakes set a bit more, or a bit more effort having been done to outline what the actual goal is. What is Yisk trying to do? There's zero context to the route or the game here. There was zero end objective mentioned. It seems a bit aimless in that way, you know, not the game, but the speed run, the video itself. So I have no clue what he's working towards. I have no clue. Judging by the length of the video, we're almost there. You know, it was him getting to that bell like supposed to be the last thing you're supposed to do. I genuinely don't know. I'm assuming by the music change that the bell is a late game thing because it sounds very dramatic. But I do not understand what is happening right now. And that's not good. There should be a bit more context. There should be like I said, I should understand where we are in the run, where we are in the game. Is grabbing the bell a big deal? Because if so, I would have popped the fuck off at him flying up to grab it. I would be like, oh shit. But that didn't happen. I don't know if it's crazy or not.
The Great Bell Caper of 2019 continues as we sprint past the bouncer, followed by two ladies who see our drip and decide they want to steal it. This leads to the hardest clip in the run, where we perform a drop clip with the bell, all while the two women breathe down our neck trying to take the bell from us. After the music reaches a crescendo and we plop down into the water, we're finally home free. Yisk then proceeds to take it all the way home, ringing the bell a few times on his own and honking in celebration as he reaches our den, where he'll celebrate some more by making himself hover over the pit before dropping the bell into what appears to be a mass grave for bells. The run officially ends when the bell hits the bottom of the pit. It's at this point that we, the audience, come to a realization that this goose is a plague upon this town, being the embodiment of eternal terror that continually wreaks havoc upon the innocent townspeople, constantly stealing their bells. If you may,
I guess, okay. Before we go, I guess the context is that delivered there, but all that I said still applies. Like, you know, let's just watch the outro.
made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you and that both myself and Yisk appreciate you. Yisk helped a ton when making this video, and I strongly encourage you to go follow him on Twitch. Also wanted to say thank you to everyone who's supporting the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot. If you chip in as little as $1 a month, you can get access to videos early, some exclusive content, and a patron Discord role. I do understand though that it's not in everyone's budget to support via Patreon, but wanted to say thank you to those of you who do. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed the run, and if you have any feedback on it or recommendations for other runs to cover or videos to make, I recommend you join my Discord and head over to the video discussion and recommendation channels. Link is in the description.
Man, throwback
This
to
was
when
an any percent speedrun
I had video discussion and
of
recommendation
Untitled
channels in my
Goose
Discord.
Game. I've been Tomato Anus, and I hope you have an above average day.
All right, let's go back real quick. Let's watch
ID
this.
and paying the cover charge and continues as we sprint past the bouncer, followed by two ladies who see our drip and decide they want to steal it. This leads to the hardest clip in the run, where we perform a drop clip with the bell, all while the two women breathe down our neck trying to take the bell from us.
Like, this could all be like remediated by at the start of the video even saying like the objective of this game is to complete tasks. The game ends when you bring the bell back. Normally, you have to build to that. Normally, you know, it's like a domino effect. But instead, Yiska's going to skip straight to the bell by doing this, you know. Like, and of course, that was just off the top of my head, but that was 20 seconds, 25 seconds with me kind of thinking for a little bit. So, like, if I had the time to iron that out and whatnot and script it better and everything like that, like, what, 15, 20 seconds to explain that? That could be at the start of the video. Boom. The viewer has a ton of context. The route could be laid out from the get-go, right? I could outline that route from the start. I could say, you know, he's going to walk and pretty much beeline to the bell and go back, right? So I think that's a big thing that this video is missing. I think the number one thing that this video is missing is that context. And I think the other places where this video fails are with the explanations of tech. I'm looking at how long I've been recording. I think we're just going to stick with Untitled Goose Game for this one. I don't want to be recording for like 2.5 hours. Because I got 45 minutes of usable footage or so for this Untitled Goose Game thing. Which is a lot to talk about for a 5-minute video. The big thing this video is missing out on is context. So I guess I'll summarize the notes that I took. Yeah, the context, having that would help a lot, of course, for all of the reasons I went to. I feel like I don't need to talk about it anymore, but like I would remake it saying what I just said at the start of the video, outlining it. And it's pretty light on tech, if I'm being honest. So I could use that time to, you know, I could do the definition pop-ins with the commentary over them, and boom, the tech is explained, and then the rest is all flavor, right? The rest is what this video is. The I don't even remember all the terms I used. Danger snake or something, or yeah, I don't even remember. Bouncer, walk past him without showing our ID, all that stuff. Like that then can stay, and it's just, I guess this video could be so greatly improved by having just a few changes like that. Talk about the route at the start very briefly. Take 10-15 seconds to do it. And just polish off those definitions. Polish off the commentary on them. It's not hard. It's not a hard video to make. It's not a hard run to make a video on because it's very short. It's has only 3 pieces of tech, I would say, off the top of my head. The push clip, drop clip, and the flying thing. Of course there's more. I'm not trying to downplay the skill of Untitled Goose Game runners or the intensity of the run at this point in the run's evolution. Not at all. But from like an explanation perspective, there's not too much meaty details to get into. So yeah, I would say those are the big things. I'm going to copy down. I'm going to finish after I finish up recording this. I'm going to copy these all down to the notebook. But yeah, I think that's all for today. that will be all for today. Thank you all for watching, and thank you if you're watching this when I release it on Patreon. Thank you for supporting on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it as always. Next month, we will be going over Outer Wilds, right? Outer Wilds? Wilds or Worlds? Outer Worlds, not Outer Wilds. God, see, even I've played both games and it's still confusing. It's still confusing. Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds. But thank you for watching. Again, please leave comments. Even if you're watching this in 2025 on Tomato Angus, please leave comments. I read them on there. I love reading your guys' thoughts on there, even if it's delayed by a year. I'm just trying to get better at what I do. So any input you guys have is great. I do take it all into consideration. You know, just trying to improve. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys. I will see you guys doing this. I will see you guys when I do this next month. Peace.